Okay. I'm just testing things out right now. Do we have sound? My background music isn't playing. I'm just testing things out right now. We have background. Test. Test. I think we got everything just about set. All right. This is the Hobby Hangout. A little bit of a delay, and I apologize for that. Like I said, I'm not sitting right in front of my monitor. I'm at a workstation, and I'm still trying to feel out how to run this. So there's probably going to be a better way. My background music is not working. Or at least it's working intermittently. Now it's not. And it just kicked back on. Cool. I don't know, man. We're going to let it ride. Unless it sounds like my balance is really weird. You can tell this is a Wild Rider. I've already started. I've got to go through and touch all this up where there's old lines. And, you know, we got those little horsies going on here. Got a few of them already built. I've got the rider started. And what we may end up doing if we've got time today is I might actually end up trying to kit bash one of these handsome fellas into a wood elf noble. But we're going to start with cleaning that up. I've got a little tool in my pocket, a little mold line remover. Sometimes I use the knife, sometimes I use this. It just depends. We're just scraping some of these mold lines off because they're pretty pronounced on this model. This is an older sculpt, I'm guessing. These are for Old World. I play Old World sometimes, but I also play other games, and I use them for other games. One of the things that we're involved in, there's a game, you don't know what GURPS is. Forget what exactly it stands for, but it's something like generic something role-playing system. But what it is it's generic rules you can apply to any settings for role-playing games, kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, but you can make you know, sci-fi with it, etc. For people who want the same rules for all their settings. Cool. Oop, there, we gotta get out. But there's a war game out there called Hounds of War, and it's a similar kind of deal, and I've talked about it before, but we finally got to the point where we're building armies for it so that we can have our own setting in it and play our own campaigns in it, which is kind of cool. And as we do that, we'll be posting videos, and I'll probably write some articles on it just to keep everybody up to date, and I'll be using my wood elves for it. My son Eli is going to play in it, and he's going to use the lizard men that he has, and he has enjoyed it. Had a great time. I don't know if you've seen some of the pictures I've posted or anything like that, but I've put pictures up of it. I did a little short, and it's on an app called Knock Knock. It's just an AI app that makes videos out of your miniature. You know, you take a picture of your miniature and you tell it what you want it to do, and it makes a video out of it. Because we played a game where my wood elf noble and his lizard man warlord, we got into a 1v1, and I mean, as it should, it just came down to dice. I got lucky, he did not. Like, I can't even claim that I outplayed him or outmaneuvered him or anything. It was all dice. He did not roll very well. I rolled pretty well, and then his warlord got smoked. But we took a picture of it, and I made a little video on Knock Knock for it. That's actually on my shorts. So that's pretty cool. We've been doing more stuff like this, and I'm going to be moving more into the hobby side a little bit more often. I don't think I do enough hobby stuff. I think I tend to focus a little too much on rules, and I think for my sake, honestly, it's not even for subscribers, but for my sake, I think I need to do more hobby stuff. I think having such a rules-driven channel lately has really been something that's kind of, it's not been good for me. You know, it's not been one of those things where I'm like, this is awesome. It causes me to get drained very quickly. I don't want to say bored. Bored's not the right word, because I don't mind talking about rules, and I love talking about games. But sometimes there's only so much you can say about a game, which is kind of what happened with Warhammer. I wasn't a big fan of 10th anyway. And, you know, I'd already said a lot about it, and it was just like, this is not all I want to be. I don't just want to be Warhammer. We're going to take this watch off. Got my cup of coffee. If you're watching or listening, perfect. Got the balance, looks good. So we've got riders who already started. Got to trim these up a little bit, but I did a pretty good job of hitting mold. And we're not going to glue these on just yet, because we're going to paint them separately. I'm not a total heathen. I'm only a partial heathen. But what we're going to do, right? We need cloaks. Start getting cloaks. I've got some snips. We'll probably be back on Thursday for another hobby hangout. I'll probably do these twice a week. Probably try to do them Tuesdays and Thursdays is going to be my goal. Tuesdays and Thursdays hobby hangouts. And this Thursday, we're not going to do a hobby hangout. We're going to do a stream game. I got to get stuff done for that. I've got noise marines I have to build. I forgot about that until literally right this second. One of my friends is coming over. We're going to stream some 40K. We've got Chaos Knights, I think is what he's playing. I don't mean to keep throwing shit, but I think he's playing Chaos Knights, and then I'm going to be playing Emperor's Children. I'm going to try to get more paint on Fulgrim. Unfortunately, this is going to be one of those situations where I don't have very much paint on my model. That's because this is a brand new army, and I'm not in a rush to paint them. I want them to look nice. Working on Fulgrim. I think he's doing pretty good. Enjoy him. He's been a joy to paint, which is not something I say very often. Most of the time when I think about painting, I also just think about how much I don't like it. And it's not that I don't like painting. I don't hate it, I don't love it, but I don't necessarily enjoy painting bulk. I don't like looking at an army and going, oh, I get to paint this. This is a thing I get to do. Please don't tell me these are specific capes. This would not be the beast. Looking like that's what this is. Which I'm not excited about. Like, maybe? I got these secondhand and they don't have instructions. So we're just kind of winging it, bro. Okay. One goes here. So yeah, I got these secondhand. Get up in there. Blah, blah, blah. And I pick up the wrong one. They didn't have instructions, so we're just building them. And generally speaking, most of the GW stuff, except for like some, even the newer stuff, we build without instructions. You gotta be careful, you gotta watch what you're doing. Pay some attention to detail, you know. Like, I should not have put glue on it before trying to dry fit things, but I was pretty confident that each tape would fit each dude. But guess what? No, dog, that ain't the case. Before I wrap this up for today, we're probably going to be looking at about an hour after we stream. I am going to be, how to maintain that dad bod. But after I get done with this, we'll be looking at, I'll take a look at some terrain that Eli and I are working on. It's actually going to be a whole big video, which is why I haven't been posting much lately, because he and I have been working on a big terrain build, and this is almost all him. Like, this is his baby. He's designing it. I'm just kind of helping him and guiding him and, you know, making sure I'm using knives, stuff like that. He's old enough I trust him with a knife, but it's more because we're going to be on camera and stuff. Like, it's just easier if I'm doing it. But we'll check that out when I'm done. I'll go grab it real fast. One of these. Oh, damn. If I can, I might even try to make a whiz-waz, a little wizard on a stag. I've got an unopened box of these I'd like to build too, but the issue I'm running into is I want Sisters of Thorn. That's what I want. But I'm going to a tournament at the end of the month, February. And I shouldn't say need. I think Wild Riders are a very, very good, very competitive option, and I like the models a lot. But from a, like, hobby standpoint, I love Sisters of Thorn. But from a competitive going to tournament standpoint, they are not the bee's knees. They have their use. They're not terrible, but Wild Riders are just really good. They're very, if you're even somewhat fucking words, am I right? If you're somewhat familiar with Old World, they're very similar to War Dancers, but on horses. So, and I love War Dancers. I don't have official War Dancer models, but I'll probably be picking some up and slowly phasing out my third parties. But I've got some third parties, and honestly, I'm not super thrilled with the third party ones I have. So this isn't me just being like, oh, I need the official GW stuff. It's more, I have not found a War Dancer sculpt that I really, really like. So if you watch this and you're seeing this, make sure you let me know if you've got some that are just the fucking bees. Got a little extra cloak here, that makes me excited. Thursday we're streaming a game, so there won't be a hobby hangout. And there may still be a hobby hangout. Don't get me wrong. No, there won't. I have to set up the table. I know it's a little bit later. It's probably, I think 1:30 is what we were aiming for. I'll have to double check, but I'm 99% sure it was something like that. Oh my god, I love it so much. Wood Elves, if you don't know, this is my jam. I'm not very good at Old World, not like I used to be at 40k, and I'm not even very good at 40k anymore because of how much time I've put into other games like Firefight and stuff in the past year. But I haven't put enough time into Old World. Wood Elves OP, Bullied Chaos. That was actually a really close game. And honestly, what you need to say is War Dancers are OP. War Dancers bullied Chaos. Everything else just kind of like crumpled like a fucking napkin. But War Dancers were just like, nah, dog, I'm gonna run straight through you. And that's true. I played Garrett not too long ago, and we didn't do like super deep victory point counting. We just counted up to see who had killed the most stuff at the end, because we were just making sure we had our technicals down, like making sure we still knew how to play the game and stuff. And most of my stuff just hit him and bounced off. It didn't do anything. And that's kind of where Wood Elves are. But I have War Dancers. I love War Dancers. Yeah, they did. I think you lost. I think we both lost right around 1,500 points. It was only like a 40-point difference or something like that. But of those 15, we'll call it 1,500 points of his army that died, I'm pretty sure my War Dancers killed probably 1,300 to 1,400 points of it. Like they just, everything they touched went away. And that's why I love War Dancers. And I love them. I've been playing Wood Elves since, gosh, I don't know. I had them 6th edition, probably. 5th edition, back when I used to play fantasy very regularly. And they just, I love them. It's an aesthetic thing. It's a play style thing. It's like those two things put together. I love the aesthetics. I love their glass cannon play style. Unfortunately, from my perspective, a good portion of their rules right now are kind of reminiscent of Dark Eldar in early 10th, Drukhari in early 10th, where they're real heavy on the glass and a little light on the cannon. Which, you know, that's okay. We're going to put the shield on them because I like shields. Shields, I got shields and hand weapons. Cool. Yeah. Probably not how we want it. Probably want it more. Yeah, that's goodly. One of these guys, I'm going to see if we can, like I said, kit bash into some sort of Lord, because I have a whole second box. So what I'm going to do is I actually have 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Oh my gosh, 10 shields. 11 shields, perfect. I have 11 shields. There's 20 bodies. Let me make sure. I have some Eternal Guard. Here's what we're looking. I have lots and lots. Lots and lots of thoughts. With a U. And 11. Cool, so I can snag one of these and try to make like a noble. Do some different bits and stuff like that. That'll be the last thing we do. I think Wild Riders are one of those things that, from a competitive standpoint, like I'm going to enjoy having them. They might not be what I necessarily want to run. In a perfect world, I'd be able to, from a competitive standpoint, I'd be able to run a lot more Dryads. The problem is that the Dryads are just kind of ass. They're not very good. I love them. I have so many of them. I probably have like 60, 70 Dryads. I have 6 Treekin. My Treekin are really just, what are those things called from AOS? Turn-off hunters, I think. You can build them with bows. I don't know, they're the big dudes. You can build them with bows or sides or swords. And I want to get some more of those anyway, because I like those models. And again, that's always been the draw for me with this army, is I love the aesthetic. You know, when I was dabbling with AOS, I was dabbling with a few different armies because I was sitting on a ton of stuff at the time. But Sylvaneth is what I would want to play. And I just love them, you know, like they love me. Darn it. And you do. But yeah, these are pretty cool. I like these. I haven't seen Wild Riders in a long time. I want to get some more Glade Guard. So I used to have a really big elf army. It was stolen. Stolen's probably not the best way to say it. It was technically stolen, but it was also one of my exes got really mad at me, and while I was at work, she threw everything out. And I'm not saying I deserved it or didn't deserve it, but she just got really mad at me and threw all my stuff out on the street, basically. And when I got home, they were all gone. And you know, oh well, lesson learned. That's not. If that's the worst thing that happened to me that day, I'm not having that bad. This is actually my second time building wood elves in my life. First time. You have an arm. What do we need? Alright. So we're going to take this and we're going to use this to make our noble, just to give him a little bit different shield. We'll probably take some Eternal Guard weapons out of there, because they'll build Rangers or Eternal Guard. So I can take like a Ranger Glaive out of there, or I can take one of the Eternal Guard spears out of there. I have options, just to, like, I don't need him to be WYSIWYG. Oh, believe it or not, I don't care. But I don't need him to be WYSIWYG. I just need him to look like he could be a noble, you know, like, I need him to look different, so people look at him and they go, oh, that's very clearly Lord Elfington. Lord and Lady Elfington, I presume. Oh, it's down behind. Look at that. That handsome Jasper. Oh. Sip of coffee time. Now, got some hands to put on these sellers. See, I've got bits for making wizards and stuff then too, because the Sisters of the Thorn are technically a wizard unit too. You know, so you can kit bash some neat stuff out of this box. If you are like me and don't feel like spending extra $bucks on a character model, like, I don't need that in my life. Y'all charging me too much already. They just also use the same weapons. Oh, I'm pretty sure these are the Sisters of Thorn javelins, and I'm pretty sure this gets used with this to make Wild Rider. Okay, we got there. We got there from here. Just think, Garrett, if you're still watching, these work a lot like War Dancers. So now I can have 2 units that can kill anything they touch. Wah, ha, 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 ha. And that's not true. They won't kill anything they touch. There's plenty in the game that'll just, like, shrug them off. Like, the big thing is that they have cavalry spears, if I remember right, so they can, when they fight, if they charge, they're on strength 5. Off some spears. OP needs, yeah. Wood Elf's too good. I'm gonna go to this tournament and I'll win 1 game out of 3. And they're gonna be like, what? A Wood Elf player won a game? Nerf them into the dirt. What'll happen is we'll go down there and I'll get like super lucky or unlucky, depending on how you look at it. I'll end up playing John round 1. And I'll get super lucky and beat him just on dice. Like, I won't beat him because I'm better than him. I'll just beat him because I get dice. You'll win your round 1 matchup, and then I'll end up playing you round 2, and I'll just lose that one. Like, I would genuinely laugh if that's how the whole thing went. I went to a GT once in Cincinnati, and it was like my buddy Zach, my buddy Alex, me, and then my buddy Bailey. And I want to say I was the only one that didn't play anybody else in our group. Like, I want to say Zach ended up playing Alex and Bailey ended up playing Alex also. Like, I think they all played each other to where, you know, it was like round 2 and round 3. Basically, everybody that came with had played each other except me. I was the only person that didn't play any of them. And I don't even know how that ended up working out. That was such a good time, though. That was such a fun tournament. That was late 9th. Late 9th, where guard was just gross. And I went 3-2, and I had won a game and lost a game against guard. Which, you know, like, I cannot complain about that. Because they were gross. But, and then my other loss was against Custodes. And, super nice dude. I lost that game because I'm kind of a dunce. You know? It was, like I said, late 9th, and Gretchen didn't have OBSEC. And so you had to give them OBSEC as an option in your list, and I forgot to give a unit of Gretchen OBSEC. And that literally was the swinging point in the game. Like, dude won because I was a dunce. And, you know, like I said, it was a fun game. We had a great time. That was back when I was running those evil sons. And I got to the table, and he was a Custodes player, and he was asking me questions about the army. But it wasn't like, hey, what does your army do? He was just like, oh, you're playing orcs? And I was like, yeah. And he was just like, oh, cool, man. You playing Goths? And I was like, nah. And he was just like, oh, but they're so killy. And then I was like, yeah, they are. And I think round 2 I declared my WA. And I had a death kill of Wartrike. And I want to say it, and this is going off memory, but I want to say when you declared your WA, that thing could advance and charge like 32 inches or something stupid. And it wasn't a world beater, but like it could go basically wherever it wanted to. And I had it set up to do mortals on the charge, and then mortals after it fights, and stuff like that. Like it had a lot of damage output. It's just not very good with attacks. And I hit the big brick of probably Wardens. I don't know, man. Custodes models are all the same to me. And killed all but one of them. And you could just see him get wide-eyed and the color drain from his face. And he was just like, oh. And I was like, yeah, I mean, they're still killy, buddy. And he was just like, yeah, I see. Alright, I have a spear. There's the other one. This one should be dry enough that I can work this out. Alright. You are not the one I want. You're the one stepping on the back of my shoe. Trying to figure out how this little arm goes on. Oh, like that. Would you look at that? But Eli and I have been playing a lot of games lately, and he's been really getting into all of them. But the two big ones that he's been playing are the Hounds of War, because he gets to just make his own army. He loves that. But he discovered Quar, and that is still probably my favorite game. The problem is that, like, I am hard pressed to get a lot of people to play it because, one, it's just another game, right? Like, I don't blame people because they're just like, there's so many games out there, I have to pick and choose which ones I can't play. But two is it's a weird one, and it's not a strategy game the way like Warhammer is. You know, when people ask me what Warhammer is, I don't tell them it's a war game because it's not, in my opinion. It's a tabletop strategy. So it's kind of like if you were to play Magic, but had models instead of cards. Especially 40K, especially right now. But Quar is an actual like historical war game with a cute skin, right? Like I think the guy who made it, he calls it Grimsicle. Oh my gosh, my shield broke off. Why would you do this to me? Hopefully I don't have to use. I don't like. Lather you up. Gee. That there first. Plop it on there. We got one more spear to make, and then I got to decide what I'm gonna do with this dude. I'll make him do what it do. Do I just make this guy banner bearer? Need a banner. Really should get better at free. But I can make really cool banners. But I am. That's not a skill I've ever developed. I spent a little bit of time when I was younger drawing. I didn't have great skill in it. Younger. And I just never really put a lot of effort into getting better at it. I don't like the way I draw. I don't like the way things look that I draw. Nothing ever looks the way I want it to, and maybe that's the perfectionist in me. I don't know, because I'm not a like crazy perfectionist. It's not like I sit there and think everything has to be perfect. But when I'm making something and it doesn't look the way it does in my head, that can be a little disheartening, you know. If you're watching this, if you like pressing buttons, press the like button. It'd be pretty cool. Or not, you can fuck off too. Oh, there we go. We're gonna do one guy with a banner. I guess what this means really though is that I'm gonna end up having to pick up another box of these. So darn. I can have my Wild Riders, I can have my sister, have all the goods I want to have. Goodies. Gross. Probably not. How you do that? By pushing the knife into you. I don't know if you heard me earlier. Kind of a dunce. Right? Like, I'm honest about it. Alright. Gotta sit. Now, while that's sitting to dry. Ooh. Let's take a look at, do I want to give this guy a sword? Do I give him like a big... Oh, these are two. Not like an option. One hand. All two. I was kind of hoping. Oh, there's a cool sword in here. Maybe... kind of looking to see if there's anything I've gotten here that I can make a super awesome noble weapon out of. I don't think there's anything, so I think we give him a sword. So this is probably fine with it. Like up a little. Maybe just one of those things where we represent it more in his shield and paint than we do in weapon, and that's fine. Some situation where I have to have everything perfect. I've got a foot noble. They basically just look like everything else anyway. All them elves just look the same. God, I hope that doesn't demonetize me. Oh God. Crusade tonight against Custodes, playing Emperor's Children. I'm sure there's an experience difference there. I think that could be a real rough matchup for Emperor's Children right now, depending on your build also. Do they still have like a damage reduction strat? The Custodes? I've only gotten to play one game so far with the Emperor's Children, and I have had a blast. Like, that one game I played was so much fun, and you know, part of it could be the detachment I'm playing, but they just seem to not have a lot of tools in the toolbox. And I know it's a new army and they don't have a ton of units right now. Like, they're very limited in that regard. Well, at least there's that. And I know they lost a lot of the fights first bullshit. Guy's gonna have to get on his. That makes me sad. Holden bits. Holden bits. I'll probably have to super the other guys. As long as he isn't running wardens, I'll be fine. Yeah. And that's fair, man. Because those are the boys that can get the feel no pain, right? I think it's like a once per game 4-up, and then they always have a feel no pain. Is that what they do? I'm so out of it, man. Like, I'm in a league and I gotta look and see if they've got round 2s posted yet. I doubt it, because I think it's 2 weeks per round, and I think we've just finished 1 week. But Oh my gosh, I love him. He's a cowboy. That's the sound of his horse. But I remember wardens being like pretty awful to deal with. But I haven't played against custodes in a long time. I did that GT. That was, you know, like my first few games in years, literal years, and like a year and a half actually, I guess technically, but I didn't really play the same army multiple times, so that was cool. Once per game for it, yeah. You're doing the the transport detachment, right? If you play one days, it can be, yeah. I will say, like, yes, my Terminators died very quickly when I played Steven, but that's because of how I used them. But the little bit that they were on the table, I really enjoyed them. That was cool. Like, they were fun for the, like, one turn they were on the table, but that one turn was such a massive turn that I don't care. Like, that was one of those where I won because of that one turn. I hit him with the bamboozle. Alright, these should be regular honkies. Honkies. Oh. Might be. This is... I have a picture. Those are the honkies. This is the Jank and rerolls. Yeah. And that one does look fun. I just couldn't pass up that, like, hey, I'm gonna put a Keeper of Secrets on the table with Fulgrim because it's funny. Like, I couldn't pass that up. It was just one of those situations where I was like, this is the memes are gonna be too good. I cannot. Gosh, what is this? So cool. That's also cool. I know what you are. I probably should have opened my other box so I could friggin' learn how to build these things. My gosh. The Keeper's been fun. That's for sure. Again, didn't necessarily live long, but she did everything I needed it to do. You know, locked up my opponent, was a good distraction, freed Fulgrim up to kind of like go ham. You know, and I think I was that detachment, Noise Marines, and Demonettes look good, -2 leadership, consistent battle shocks. Yeah, you know, being able to use Demonettes to like battle shock people, being able to use Noise Marines to try to give them penalties and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. And having Demonettes going to -2 while they're next to the Keeper is nice. and having a keeper of secrets that can fall back, advance, and charge because of the strat. And then the uppy downy with the demonettes is kind of expensive, but still good. It's 2 CP. You know, so it's one of those, I need to look at some things, because I may need at some point to work in a regular character and see what enhancements there are. Because that's the biggest complaint, is like that is one of those detachments where the strats are pretty solid, but a lot of them are 2 CP, so it's like you don't actually use a lot of them. I think there's like another part of this head. Where the back of your head, fool? I don't know. Am I missing bits? Or do they all just use the same bits? We'll see how these guys do. I gotta see if I can schedule a game with John this week. I don't think these actually go on here, right? Like, oh brother. Stay. Yeah, the demonette causes they have this like battle shock in the fight phase, if I remember right, like the incubi. That's definitely not how that should go. I haven't looked too much at the other detachments' stratagems, but I know like this detachment that I'm playing is rough. R-U-F-F, rough. Nice. I don't know what I'm doing this weekend. I may try to get out of the house a bit. I know Friday I gotta go to Plymouth because I gotta do some firefights, so I can at least pretend like I remember how to play that game when I go to Adepticon. Hitting a wall here. See if I can look at this picture I got back here real quick. Oh. No. Well, that sounds like the perfect attachment for me. What detachment punishes me the most? Well, that's me. Honestly, the big thing I've noticed with the demon detachment, in the little bit that I've played it, and you know, with as much as I've read through it, is it just, I don't think it punishes you. It requires a good foundation and working knowledge of the game. Like, that's what I think it does. You know, like I said, that uppy downy's handy, but 2 CP is expensive. And then there's an LFR, so you can make your unit -1 to hit against shooting or fighting. And that one's really handy, as long as you're not playing against power dwarves. Because a lot of their stuff is just like, ignore your rules. Not that I'm salty about that. And then, but like, you can really cause a good drop off in efficiency. I think my only thing I'd want to change is I might consider trying to revamp my list at some point to have more flawless blades and less noise marines. But at the end of the day, like, I'm not unhappy with how it played when I played against a very shooting Ultramarines army, you know. And I think with a couple more reps, I'll be doing all right with it. And I think the way I got to get my teeth kicked in at Hawaii really kind of helped me get back into that, like, that mindset of how to, like, play 40K. You know, that last game was so rough, man. I just wish I know if that guy would have actually beat me had we had, like, average normal dice. Like I said, those first 2 losses, 100%, I got beat by better players. But that third loss was 100% like one of those games where your dice are just like, hey, nah, you ain't winning no matter what you do, bitch. And you really got to be able to laugh those off, man. You got to be able to just be like, man, that sucks. Because sometimes games just be that way and there's nothing you can do about it. Especially when you play armies that don't get tons of rerolls and stuff. I think, little non sequitur. I like non sequiturs. But I think this Friday at Litco, I'm going to be teaching people Quar. They want me to run Dungeons and Dragons, because we do games on most Fridays. But the reason for the games is for these people I work with who are not gamers, see how our products work and get implemented, and then come up with, you know, it's almost like R&D. So, like, I can't justify using every Friday to play Dungeons and Dragons. Like, look, man, I'm getting paid to do this. There's an expectation here. I need to at least make sure that I am spending some of this time the way it was intended to be. Like to try to get a game of Old World. Don't know if I'm. I want to get a couple more in before that tournament. You know, but yeah, dude, I know. The rerolls and stuff are absurd with that army. Did I? No, this is probably not the best head for this. Probably one I should have suited. Oh, get it? That's one of those armies, though, that, like, they have one of the loudest fan bases, you know? And it's because it's one of the biggest fan bases. It's just like, man, watching Space Marine players complain about other people's army always makes me out of here, bro. There's literally not a rule in the game that you don't get access to. Just because your specific detachment army doesn't have it, doesn't mean you don't get access to it. And that's actually, like, been a thing for a long time going into some of the older editions. I remember playing games with people. I feel like his head's kind of at a weird angle, but I think it could also just be his pose. But there we go. We got a little noble action going. I remember playing this game with this dude. He was a Space Marine player. And I forget exactly what the interaction was, but there was something where I failed it and didn't get very good rolls. And he was just like, oh, but you're in range of your character, you should get the reroll. I was like, what are you talking about, man? Like, what? This was, you know, in my orc heyday. And he was just like, yeah, you know, like the Space Marine captains just got a bubble of re-rolling whatever the hell they re-roll. I think it was just hits of one, because chapter masters, I think, were re-rolling hits. And I was just like, bro, like, I don't play Space Marines. I don't get to re-roll shit. And I understand why. Like, I roll so many dice that if I had re-rolls, it would be awful, right? Like, I understand why. But, like, come on, man. Get out of here with that. Oh my god, I love these boys. I love them, love them, love them. Oh, I wish I could save them for you, Garrett, so you could be their first victim. But I think they will just fall victim to Tomb Kings, because I think the way it's looking, I'm going to end up playing John before you. Guess I could poke Dan. If he's ready to put some high elves on the table. Dan and I could play a game in which nobody has fun. If high elves are anything like they used to be, that could very much be a game where neither one of us actually have any fun. Because, like, they're still elves. If they work like they used to, they're still elves, and they're still going to just die. But at the same time, they're going to kill whatever they touch. Because they're very much, you know, like super glass cannon. I probably should have, like, thought about how I pose these a little bit more before I started doing this. I see. I just keep telling everybody, like, I'm kind of a dunce. And nobody's like, you'd be like, ah, no, you're not. Don't say that about yourself. And then I build stuff, and I don't even think about what I'm doing. I'm just building. And then I'm like, oh, piss. I didn't even think about how they would fit on their horses. Oh, brother. This guy stinks. Yeah, they do. You know, as soon as somebody gets a rule, some Space Marine chapter out there is going to get it too. You know. I think my favorite part about it is the fact that GW has embraced the memery, and they just troll people. Like, they're just like, oh, more Primaris lieutenants, ha ha ha. And they're just like, yeah, we know the meme culture here. We don't care. Brother, I need you to fit on your horsey. Oh, you kind of fit on this horsey. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to fit on this. There we go. He should go there. He can go here. I'm starting to think that maybe I didn't build. Turns out with no instructions, you know. Yeah, and I mean they've always been pretty gross. Like the what are they called? There's like some sword boys that are really nasty. this Blade Masters, I think. No, we may need to just that dude up. Oh, good. Alright, cool. Well, we knocked those out. That was awesome. And I got a cool little cloak out of it, which I'm pretty happy about. More kit bashing. And actually, I probably have the stuff to kit bash. Do I have another set of legs up here? Oh, horseman legs. I have another body. I have another set of legs. The way these guys are posed, I could actually put them on my Great Eagle. Oop. All right, and that's going to take us to 1 o'clock. So what a great stopping point. We got through the little bit that I needed to get through. I had a great time hanging out with everybody. Like I said, this Thursday we won't do the hobby hangout. What we will do is we're going to be streaming some 40K. I'm going to have some Emperor's Children going against some Chaos Knights. And then next week we should be back on Tuesday. I don't know what we're going to do. We might have some painting. We might have some building. We're just going to kind of let Jesus take the wheel on that, and we'll see what's up. I have a lot of Emperor's Children to paint, so we may look at that. And I may have some terrain from GW to build, so we may even do that. But thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time.